left the steel tariffs at 50, they have to use U.S. steel because it's so much cheaper. And the 15% thing is great because it's small enough where the importers here will eat the tariff and not pass on the price hike. But it's big enough, because that's what they're already doing, but it's big enough to make U.S. industry more competitive and bring in a lot of tariff revenue, which we can use to pay down the debt and send out tariff stimmy checks. So the Democrats today are not attacking this deal, are they? And the free traders over at the Panikin networks, CNBC, are not attacking this deal. They're saying it's a great deal. The Europeans are the ones who said that they got screwed and that they basically got dominated by Donald Trump. It is a victory for the United States, Jessica, and I think you should hold my hand and celebrate.
We can hold hands, but I am not celebrating.
Yay!
Jessica, or Messica, as Jesse called her.
It's so funny because we basically have the same name.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So before this deal with the EU, we have to be clear that every trade war that we are engaging in, Donald Trump brought that one up himself, except for China. China is the one that you really have an issue with, but we essentially had favored nations with the EU being about 1% import. So 15% is a lot more than 1%. And I rarely say that I wish somebody else would take my seat, at least for this segment, but I wish Charlie Gasparino was sitting here right now to explain to Jesse again how tariffs work, because it is a tax on the American consumer. The American consumer knows that. That's why they don't rate Trump particularly highly on how to handle inflation, cost of living, tariffs, and trade wars. And you also see headlines like Walmart raising prices up to 51%. They're doing that because they're not going to eat the tariff. They're going to pass it on to you. Volkswagen, profits down $1.5 billion. GM, profits down $1 billion. Why is that? Because of these trade wars that Donald Trump created. Now, there is this $20 billion in revenue that's coming in, right? I've seen the headlines. I've seen the Panikins backing off. But if it weren't going to be a clear line to raising your individual prices, why is Donald Trump, and Josh Hawley now wants to get in on it, talking about rebate checks for the American public? They want another opportunity for Donald Trump to smack his signature, which has been all over the place, as we've seen recently,
Not
on
with an
another
auto pen.
rebate, not with an auto pen, on rebate checks so that the American public won't hate him for the fact that he is raising their cost of living. And that is what is going on here.
All right. You have an issue with what she just said.
I do, because
Boy, she be spitting that shit on their ass and they don't know how to even handle her. She be spitting that shit for real, because that's all Donald Trump doing. They know this and plus, we haven't even seen the fruits of this shit. He keeps saying it's the deal here and the deal there. Where is it? Where's the paperwork for it? I searched it up online. I can't find shit that have to do with a deal with the EU. Only thing I found is what's on the White House website. Now you tell me that this ain't no bullshit, because it is. It's total bullshit, and they all know it. But Jessica be spitting. She like the lone liberal, the only one that be spitting like straight facts in their ass. And when she is spitting facts, they try to make little jokes and try to clown. Oh, but now with the auto pen, come on, dog. She wasn't even funny.
President Trump has a very well-stocked arsenal, but the greatest tool, in my view, is trade. And it has allowed him to even make peace deals now. He has the secondary tariffs on Putin now, and instead you got 2 weeks, pal, to get this deal done. He's using trade deals for peace deals, and vice versa. Thailand and Cambodia, he's mentioning trade. Look, it's been less than 4 months since Liberation Day, and a lot of people here on Wall Street freaked out, flipped out. They were all wrong. They usually are, like a pack of lemmings, God bless them. They're never held to account. I work in an industry where also you're not held to account for being wrong, I suppose. But the fact is, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, the consumer confidence, people now saying things are going better, you're handling inflation. But for President Trump on the world stage to use trade and tariffs for the way he has, they raise revenue. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, says by the end of this year, $300 billion potentially. Number two, President Trump has used tariffs to compel or incentivize transformative changes in behavior. Canada and Mexico get your criminals and your drugs out of our country. It had nothing to do with goods and services. Over the EU has a lot to do with goods and services. Hey, you tax our U.S. vehicles at 10%, we tax yours 2.5%. Don't need to be an economist or a pollster or a 2-year-old to know that's not fair. And now it is fair. The other thing is he's upending globalization. All these blue collar jobs that have been yielded from the first 6 months of his economic plans have been incredible because those jobs have been taken away from foreign workers and going to blue collar workers in this country, American workers. And the fourth thing is when you slap tariffs on people, it's not a trade war because there's no shots fired. When you slap tariffs, what happens? People otherwise reluctant come to the negotiating table and they say, what can we do? Let's get a bilateral deal. Let's get a trilateral deal. They come to the table. Secretary Bessa is in Stockholm today for round 3 of this China trade talks. This is happening. And last point, what I love about President Trump in these first 6 months is he tackles all those traditional issues like the economy and foreign policy and trade. But then he's got plenty of accommodation for all the new stuff like crypto and AI all at the same time. And that's what Americans are seeing. And that's why the polls will never truly keep pace with what people are seeing in this transformation.
Well, there you go.
None of that shit even made sense. Cause it's like they don't understand what tariffs do. Trump keeps saying they bringing in, they taxing other countries, but you're not taxing other countries. You taxing the companies that's in your own fucking country, bro. And he know that. I know he know that. But he keep telling motherfuckers, the country's gonna pay the tariffs. The country's gonna pay it. And we charging them 15%. No, brother. You charging U.S. companies 15%, 10%. Because when they, at the import, when they about to purchase they shit, they have to, it's a tariff line. And they gotta pay that extra tariff to the U.S. government. The U.S. company do. They gotta pay that tariff to the U.S. government. And what Trump keeps saying that it's coming from other places, like I'm confused. Like that's not nowhere near true. But leave it up to Trump. He gonna keep letting them fool y'all, boy. Keep letting them fool you. Cause this shit, then with the Epstein shit, that still ain't over. But this tariff shit, they ain't see. Motherfuckers don't usually notice when prices raise little by little by little. But at some point they notice that shit. When you go to the grocery store, when you go to the gas station, you be like, damn, wasn't this shit just $2.75 last week? Now it's $3.35. But that's what it is. That's what it is, what it is. This is Reggie Red's reaction. Coming at y'all with another video, another banger. If you like my channel, like, subscribe, share with your friends, comment, leave a comment, all that good stuff. But I'm out of here. Peace.